joint ecumenical church response to meeting the needs of a very changing society.
We cannot deliver the regeneration that is required but through any single partner. We all have a key role to play.
Having a chaplain within the business on a day-to-day basis, the church is actually coming to the individual.
The church is working together in such a collaborative and visual way has a massive impact.
The church wants to grow and evolve. It's a bridge. It's a way of getting a dialogue going.
By coming together, we can really start to make sure that we're all travelling in a common direction.
Oftentimes the church is seen as a place that is only done inside four walls, but it's great to see the church is responding to people's everyday needs, whether it be spiritually, emotionally, physically, in places where they are at.
I think an industrial chaplain adds value to the business by the fact that it's a clear sign of intent from the company that other than the standard remuneration and rewards package, it's also interested in the pastoral and spiritual care of its various members of its teams. And to have that personal intervention that an industrial chaplain can bring, I think is deeply encouraging and of great comfort to people.
It's nice to think that I've got the opportunity to talk to somebody other than my own family about what's going on in my life.
Well, to me, the role of the chaplain is one of a very good friend. I think it's a wonderful opportunity to discuss issues, to discuss them in complete confidence and honesty.
The chaplaincy extends beyond Westfield at Merry Hill and actually provides services to many of our retailers. In addition, the chaplain will also help us commemorate and celebrate services throughout the year. For example, Easter, Christmas and Remembrance Day.
I really firmly believe that God is in the workplace already, and therefore the congregation actually exists here, not in the way that people would recognise as a church, but nevertheless there's a congregation here, and it's helping people to see that God is already at work here and how he cares for them and their situations in the environment in which they are called to minister and to serve in whatever gifts that God has given them, and to begin to recognise that they all have value, they all have meaning, and there's purpose in life.
I am a normal parish priest, but one of my duties is to spend a couple of hours at our local Asda. I was invited in by them because they saw the importance of some sort of faith link in the community, and I've been in there from day one, really.
HR has gone more proceduralised, it's gone more systemised, it's gone more administration-wise. We don't have the time, we don't spend the time with the people as much as we ought to have done. Having the chaplains coming in filled a big gap for us.
We found them absolutely invaluable because they can go in, they can not only talk to the people within the workplace that are feeling that stress, but they can actually speak to the families, because we forget that when that person goes home and has to tell their wife or their husband, if it's female, that they're going to be out of work just before Christmas, for instance, the effect that has of devastation on the whole family.
Industrial chaplains add value to the business by being a listening ear, by probably giving some guidance as well to the senior management on any issues, any challenges that they may face in terms of workforce morale, the way the management or the business is perceived by the workforce.
I think it has helped me when I discuss with my colleagues or my men issues. I feel it helps me better understand their issues and react as I've seen the chaplain react. It brings a very calming, balancing influence on us all.
The immediate difference is the first impression. People see the dog collar, and it shows that the chaplain, stroke the church, have a genuine interest in the people and the welfare of this company.
I remember the chaplain was outside the transport gates as the men come out and they'd received their letters. She spoke to everyone that wanted to speak to her. And the number of lads had come in on that morning and said that it was nice to have met the chaplain outside there and surprised, but it did give them a bit of hope, and they'd had a little bit of rest over the night. Without the chaplain starting this off, I don't think I'd have been on this journey. It's brought myself and my family into the church, for which we're very grateful, because we've found a lot of love and a lot of help.
Well, I think BCUIM plays a really important role in the Black Country as a whole. If you think about what's been going on in the last 10, 20 years, it's an area which has undergone huge change in the industries that are there, and that's meant an enormous impact on people who live and work in this area.
This ministry is part of the church's outreach to extend the kingdom values into areas in decision makings within local councils, in the workplace, and in many other areas of decisions outside of church walls.
I believe the faith communities are absolutely key and central to ensuring that we've got the cohesion to our communities, that they provide that network through which we can really drive hearts and minds. But also the whole issues about skills, the issues around ensuring young people are engaged, and not least contributing to that quality environment as we move forward.
Many people define themselves by the job they do. And again, so that means that when your job is changing or going, it has a huge impact on you personally and your spirit. And again, that's why it's important really that the churches, perhaps through BCUIM, play a role in being alongside people during this change and actually showing that there are some unchanging issues about love of God and love of each other and relationships that are there and have to weather through these changes.
Well, my faith really has been central to my working life. The pressures of working life through the way that we work, the way that we have to pressurise ourselves to get the things done, as well as when I was in buying the different concepts of dealing with people in a Christian manner with regard to how the boss really like you to screw the price down. So my faith really has been a backbone to me. I always wear my cross when I'm at work because the cross is central to my life. Well, I've been made redundant twice now. I was made redundant from my first company at GC, which was very hard because it was a redundancy where you were everyone was redundant, you were having to apply for jobs, and you knew that if you got the job, one of your colleagues wouldn't. So my faith there really supported me, and it helped me to some extent to support my colleagues as well. It allowed me to see a way forward, to see that wasn't the end of my life and there were new opportunities to come from that. And when I saw the Bilston Cross, that really was a powerful image to me, because in the cross there you've got the wiring looms, which brought me back to my times at GEC and to my present job as well. And in the cross it's a backbone, and it showed the backbone to me from my original employee to where I am now.
I would have said that spirituality is extremely important in work, because that's where we spend most of our time. That's where we have dealings more than anywhere else. That's where we have relationships which require working. I'm extremely grateful for the time that's been afforded to me. It's been of great personal value, relief, and thought-provoking. It's helped me understand my religion, and it's brought me closer to Christianity.
The highs are actually being in fellowship with other human beings, sharing major events that happen in the world and discussing those. I think the lows for me as a Christian is actually it can be quite lonely. Quite often you can be, or feel to be, the only Christian in the workplace. I do know other Christians where it is difficult to actually go back in the parish with problems that they've had at work and they've got really no support at all.
What sometimes helps me, Faith, is that people will start talking and you can tell that they want answers to something. And if I can give an answer and they go away a bit happier, surely that's my faith coming out, helping them.
I believe this is a job where the church should put its resources into, because many people live what in their opinion is a very Christian lifestyle, but they're not necessarily church visiting people. And for many, the interaction with the industrial chaplain will be the first and only opportunity that some of them will ever have had to actually see the church working in practice. And I think more businesses should take onto it.
Well, industrial mission has just changed substantially. It has changed to meet the changes that have taken place. What they've done is engage themselves very much with the regeneration agenda, very much with the changes that have come about within the area. They have engaged themselves with local authorities, with chief executives and with leaders of the council about the way in which the economy is changing and what that has meant for the people who live here.
Quite often we expect people to come into places where we are, and I think it's important that we go out to places where they are. And most of my parish seem to end up on at least one occasion in the week in our local Asda. So I meet a lot of my parishioners there, but also being able to engage with the staff. We've had baptisms from there, we've had several weddings, and it's just nice to be able to have a little bit of time and space to be able to talk to people where they are.
Well, I think many people in churches are aware of the changes that go on around, and they are interested in trying to support internationally and nationally the changes that occur and the difficulties that people face. But how can they get engaged with this? I think in perhaps 3 or 4 ways. One way is supporting the work of chaplains and others in their prayers. And another way, one has to say it, is thinking about the financial support that's actually necessary to continue this work, because it doesn't happen without financial support. But also, I think, people might think about whether or not they could become friends of BCUIM. Some people might be interested in learning how to be an associate chaplain or to offer their services and support in the workplace.
Oh, I think Jesus' example in every walk of life is so important. Peter was a fisherman. Where did he meet him? At the place of work. Matthew was a tax collector. Where did he meet him? At a place of work. So Jesus was deeply embedded in all his ministry, in the workplace and in what people were doing and where they were spending most of their lives. And so I think the industrial mission mirrors what Jesus was doing and brings us into the 21st century as part of his ministry.